support it.
It might be your phone though.
But-
I do it on my phone all the time. Let me check. I'm logging in right now on my phone as well.
Good morning. We're live and recording in chambers
Okay,
now.
I'll give it another try. Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Pepe. This is Lourdes from the Chambers. I see we have
Recording in progress.
Lena and Leigh Smith is also here, and our applicants. Good morning.
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 Oh, there's Mr. Pepe.
Good morning, Mr. Pepe. We do need 3 board members to have quorum, so we'll just give everyone
Few
a
minutes.
few more minutes. Thank you. Vice Chair, yes, thank you. Just wanted to let you know I was here, although I know you can't see me. I'm at the opposite side of the room there.
Thank you. So is Marcus. Is Marcus there as well?
Yes, we're both hiding behind our.
I am present.
Oh. There's something called the classroom of the future that the camera's in the middle and it follows whoever's speaking. It's really neat. But it's just a satellite kind of looking camera thing. And we have 2 people coming in. We need 1 more board member to have quorum. Let's give it a couple minutes.
There's Mariano.
Well, there we go.
What about Juan?
Okay, so we have Lisa.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, Mariano. we can hear you.
Mariano.
All right. Good morning, all.
Oh, we have 2 more board members in the waiting room. Perfect. We have quorum. And then some.
I still don't see our first applicant, just so you know, Lena, in case you have to run the meeting. I don't see Mr. Cruz, so, I mean, Mr. Calle. Maybe
Hey,
Cruz
Rebecca's
just
here.
joined us. Yeah.
Good morning.
Yep.
Morning, Rebecca.
Barrera is also here.
Are we recording already?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we have Barrera.
Oh, my God, there's a Jennifer Selman sliding. Oh, my goodness.
Ms. Sierra, our first, second, and third applicant, they're all 3 are here.
Okay, so we have quorum, so I guess we should just call the meeting to order. The first item is a pledge of allegiance. So pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so now we're gonna have the roll call of the board members. Mariano Corral,
Present.
Leigh Smith,
Present.
Rebecca Cruz,
Present.
Agustin Barrera.
Here.
I don't think I'm missing anybody else. I'm just going straight down the list. I have printed. Okay, the next item is the swearing in. Mr. Pepe. Staff. I can remember. There we go.
Need roll call as well.
That's true. Oh, roll call.
Lourdes Cabrera,
Marcus Lightfoot.
Okay.
and Mr. Pepe, can you hear us?
I don't.
Disappeared off the screen a minute ago.
No, he's there. I see his tie.
I think he might be fixing his monitor, perhaps.
There he is.
Yeah,
Mr.
Mr.
Pepe,
Pepe, fix your monitor.
Oh, Mr. Suarez is coming in.
Jose's here.
Yep.
It was a wonderful day down.
Mr. Pepe?
I don't think he could hear you, Lena.
Buenos
Okay.
dias.
Oh, there goes the neighborhood. Jesus.
Oh,
Jesus
there he
Christ.
is. Good morning, Jose.
Morning.
Buenos dias.
Buen
Welcome
dia.
back.
Morning.
First of all, to all your parents, by the way, happy Father's Day, belated Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Same to you all.
Same to you. Happy
Same
Father's
to all of you. I can't hear Mr. Pepe.
Mr. Pepe, we cannot hear you. I'm not sure why.
Try raising the volume on your device. Sometimes the mic is off and it's a toggle switch. One of the F keys. You have a PC, it's an F1 and F3.
Emiliano Orozco,
Okay.
you listen?
We can hear you, Emiliano. Thank you. We're waiting for Mr. Pepe a second to see if we can hear him.
Thank you.
Can you hear us, Mr. Pepe?
Try switching.
There we go. He's back.
All right, thank you.
He's a better attorney.
Hey, I set this whole thing up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Room number
so-
4, we're about swearing in.
Yep.
Okay,
Mr. Pepe, if you could swear
Yes.
applicants and staff.
yes, Lourdes, will you be the one presenting today?
I will be reading the items, yes.
Yes, yes. So do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And how many applicants do we have?
We have 3 applicants and they're all present,
All right,
so we can go in order.
okay. Are there mics? Yeah, it looks like their mics are open. Everyone who is an applicant, please raise your right hand so I can see you. I see 1, 2, 3.
There's a Blue Corp Engineering that's not, I don't know,
And
I have to ask them to unmute themselves.
yeah, they're muted and their camera's
If you
not
could
on.
raise your hand, please. You're our 3rd applicant. Emiliano, if you could raise your hand. And yes, maybe you want to lower your camera
Oh.
so we don't see just the top of your head and your hand. Would be fantastic. Just lower the camera a little bit or just, yeah, there we go. Beautiful, thank you. That's
Okay,
perfect.
so 1, 2, 3,
Raise your
do
right
you-
hand.
4 people, right? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
That was 1.
Lou, the architect. And
And
Mr.
I do.
Emiliano.
And you said I
Yeah.
do. Okay, and who was the third?
Emiliano is the 3rd applicant.
Emiliano, would you please say I do if you do swear?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I think we're all set. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, so we're gonna go with, Lourdes, and the first item.
The first item for review this morning is ERPB 2022-019. Applicant Andrew J. Rank. Property owner is also Andrew J. Rank. Location 6567 Southwest 53rd Terrace. This is an addition to an existing one-story home. The applicant is requesting preliminary as the first review of the ERPB this morning for this particular addition. They have submitted plans prepared by an architect and also landscape plans prepared by a Florida Register landscape architect. We have a lot that within the RS3, we have a lot size of 9,972 square feet, which fails to meet the 10,000. However, we also have the lot frontage at 66.48 feet. So it fails as for the two, being lot size and lot frontage. However, although this is a lot of, which is non-conforming lot of record because of its frontage and area, the Land Development Code does permit new construction, even if it fails to meet those requirements, as long as it meets the requirements of section 20-3.5H for 2 stories. Again, this is a 2-story addition to an existing home. The addition basically takes place towards the rear of the property, and then on the second floor, we pretty much have a master suite. It is under the allowables 30% of building and under the 45% of square footage for the FAR. There is the impervious at 38%. The design, I'm assuming that you saw the demolition and the existing floor plan, which pretty much the entire home will be renovated. We also have, as I stated, the landscaping portion where we have 3 trees, being that it's RS3, that's the requirement. The plans indicate a total of 8. And I believe there is a tree removal for the relocation of 2 queen palms, number 8 and 9. And all that will be, for final, we'll have the arborist report and the mitigation, if need be, for those 2 removals. The applicant is requesting preliminary of both the construction of the 2-story addition and the landscaping. Staff's recommendations also for preliminary with the following conditions: meet requirements set forth in section 23.5H, dimensional requirements 2-story. The landscaping, section 24.5F4B, and the existing shed and concrete slab below it, that's supposed to be demolished, that's noticed on the plans. And provide the correct amount of on-site trees required. Also, the arborist report will be a part of this second review, final for the second round. And any conditions from the board this morning. Thank you, and good morning, Mr. Liu, the architect.
Good morning, Lourdes.
Thank you. He is the architect for the project.
Good morning, Mr. Liu. Would you like to present anything before we have the board discuss?
This is a project that's been going on for over 2 years, and we finally got to the point where my clients made any final little dotting I's, crossing T's decisions, and we're finally in. Lourdes first saw this probably over 2 years ago, and this is her first time seeing it since. And it's a single-family home. It's 1 story tall, and it's almost a complete renovation of the existing home. Enlarging the area of the first floor, previously permitted addition, main bed, bath, closet. I got to be politically correct there. I almost spat out the wrong designation. And a 2-story, second story addition, which is the new main bath closet. And with the family growing, they want to add some bedrooms, and that's what this renovation's also partially about.
Okay, thank you. So since landscaping is the second item on the list of recommendations, Mariano, would you like to start with?
Why do we need to open up public comment?
Oh, that's right, public comment. Is there anyone in chambers or anyone?
Wait, let me just admit somebody. Somebody
Oh,
tried to come in. Oh, right. Okay, I'm sorry to have interrupted.
Oh, no.
And Marcus, did you say anybody was in chambers?
There's nobody in the chambers.
All right. If anyone on the Zoom call wants to speak, you have to raise your virtual hand. And to do so, wave your mouse pointer at the bottom of your screen. You'll see the word reactions. Click on that word. You'll see the word or words raise hand. Click on those words and your hand will be raised. Take it down, do the same thing twice. If you're on a phone call, and I don't see anyone who is, so I don't need to give that instruction. All right, so anyone who wants to speak to this item, please raise your virtual hand. I don't see any. All right, looks like there is no one who wishes to speak to this item from the public.
Okay, so let's, Mariano, would you like to comment on the landscaping?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, Lou, how are you? It's been a while.
Yeah, I know, I'm great. Good to see you and
sir.
talk again.
One of the things that I need to understand to begin with is with all these palm trees, how do you get the equipment back there to build this two-story home? I'm trying to figure out whether, because I'm looking at the photograph in the front, and I just want to make sure that that's taken into consideration, that there's a possibility you may have to remove some of these palms in order to be able to get the equipment to build a two-story addition, unless, I don't know construction. I'm just a plant guy, but I just want to make sure that that taken into consideration from that perspective. What I'm not sure, and I think Marcus will correct me on this, while the requirement are 3 trees per lot, the queen palms, and I believe also that they can be counted up to 30%. And I
That is
believe
incorrect.
It's more than that or less, or 1 to 1.
We don't allow palms don't count for anything as site trees.
Thank you. I was hoping they would say that. So in reality, we actually need 3 additional trees on this site, correct?
I don't know who you asked that question to, Mariano.
Whether it's to you or, well, actually, it's actually Marcus. Marcus, I believe we got 2 trees on this site and we're counting the palm trees for nothing, correct? That's all what you said?
That is correct. But any existing shade trees that are 10 feet or higher that are not invasive can be counted as towards that required site tree requirement.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. So in reality, you need 1 more tree here, Lou, okay? As a required, because I only see 2 on the side. They really are, they're small trees, but it makes sense. You're providing a silver buttonwood, and that's the right tree for that kind of space that you have on the side. But you need to provide 1 more large shade tree.
Okay, we'll provide it.
Yeah.
The chair.
Mariano.
This is just a comment. This is just a comment.
Mariano, do you need any street trees?
You need 3 trees, but again, the selection of the 2 trees in the front, I happen to think that they're the proper trees.
Okay.
I happen to think that the bridal veil is the right look for this space. It's compact and it's providing 2 and it would look good. The only thing I don't understand is, I guess it's trying to screen a wire in the front that's coming at an angle. Is that what's happening?
That's a fence.
Oh, it is a fence? Let me see.
Yes.
Let me go to the photograph.
There's somewhat of a similar fence there right now, but we're making it a more substantial fence, Mariano.
Okay, so from that perspective, hey, it's fine. My only concern now will be the grading, but I'm gonna let the expert talk about that. I'm not keen on grading. So that's basically it for me.
Thank you for your comments, Mariano.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you, Mariano, but I believe Lourdes was going to comment on something or add some information we needed to hear. Lourdes?
Thank you, Vice Chair. The tree count, that's a condition in staff's report already.
Oh, yeah, I believe you did mention there was an issue there. Sorry. Let me go back and reread it. You look, but you
Because
don't
the
see.
palms, as Marcus stated, the palms don't count. So we do need to have the 3 on site, 3 trees, so.
So there's 1 more that needs to place on site because it's got 2.
Right. And be consistent on the legend as well, because.
Yes, ma'am. Good. Thank you.
Okay. Now to the grading.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lourdes and Mr. Suarez.
Mariano, thank you for leaving the grading to me. You know how to do grading. That's not fair. Okay. A couple things. If we want to go to a grading plan, one, there's a French drain at the end of the driveway. I've actually used a French drain in the past. My suggestion here in Florida, the grounds do percolate so well that if you have the driveway just drained off to the two sides, you would be fine. And I would say, just throwing a number, only half the people actually drain their driveway, not to go out to the street. I'd say more people than not have the driveway draining to the street anyway. But if you just have a slight slope to either side, my suggestion is stay away from a French drain. Keeping them clean is a nightmare. They just get full of sediment, and then you also have to put in pipe, drainage pipe, and so forth. So that'd be my suggestion, is to get rid of that.
Mr. Suarez, may I respond to that?
Sure.
Believe me, I understand. I have that issue with my pool drainage constantly. This is an existing driveway. And frankly, I don't have Ken Gross, my engineer here, attending. I don't know if he went out and if we have grade shot and what direction it's actually sloping. I'm assuming he chose to put the French drain because he determined that it was sloping towards the street and he wanted to avoid that water from going to the street. If this is an existing concrete slab, do you have any objection to him putting in the French drain?
I would say that I do not believe in selective enforcement, and the fact that there is just so many driveways in the city of South Miami that drain into the street. I think this is a worse solution for everybody, and I would suggest not putting in the French drain.
By the way, before I forget, please take a look at the existing plan of the landscape where it shows the two palm trees inside the septic drain field, which I'm assuming that's a new drain field you're putting in, Lou. So double check that. That may have to remove those palm trees there.
Through the chair, if I may. Just to be
Go
fair,
ahead.
thank you. Just to be fair to all applicants, perhaps Lou, the architect, wants to share the screen. That's typically what we do on new construction. If you share the screen, perhaps put up the grading plan, which is what we're discussing now.
Put up a grading sign?
So,
The grading
plan.
If you
Plan,
can
his
share
plan
your
is-
screen,
Right, Jessica's going to see if,
I can
if
manage
possible,
that.
thank you.
Share the screen.
I know we're almost over or halfway through with the discussion, but if we share the screen, just want to be fair to all applicants. Ms. Salman, I'm going to be asking you to do the same thing. Thank you. Just so if, we can all follow along and
Mariano,
Yes, dear.
we do know you know how to read grading, so I do hope that you do comment on it as well. You do very good grading plans.
Well, first of all, I understand if this was Ken Gross, I have a lot of respect for Ken Gross. So one of the things I'm looking at, that he created a swale all the way around the property line with sufficient, I believe it looks like sufficient distance. But the one issue that I've always been concerned was, is he creating a berm? And he's not. Take a
No,
look
he's
at the
not.
section.
No,
So that to me starts to work well for me. Okay.
Yes.
Because I started looking at what the landscape architect was providing in terms of hedging around. And I don't think that's going to be disturbed, or maybe that should be taken a second look, whether that swale area should be pushed back a little bit. One of our biggest concern, Lou, has been the berms to contain water within the property does not work. And the reason that happens is that once they come in and they start placing any type of landscape, or there's any movement, the berm disappears and all of a sudden, now you're dumping water right back into the neighbor's property. And so we've been saying this for close to 7, 8 years now. And a lot of people don't understand, but what Ken has done here, actually, it works, Jose. I believe it does work,
Well,
but there could be, the only thing is that I would love to have seen some contour lines because that helps visually, not only to our other lay staff, other lay people in our board, but also it makes my eyes a little easier. I got to start calculating and start looking at things from the different size of SWOT elevations. I don't know what's existing. I don't know what's proposed. If you follow what I'm saying.
well, yeah, well, let me go through my comments. If you can enlarge the proposed site grading. Okay, a couple things. I agree with Mariano. I like the fact that you have a swale around the site. I think it's too small and I don't think it's needed. I think this is, the fact that you have it grading away from the house and away from the property line is great. I think that this is a good first effort, but let me show you some problem areas to be fixed for when you come back. If you look at where the addition is, you have a whole bunch of grading inside the addition. All that should just go away. Because it's all going to be covered by the slab. You have 11.8, 11.10, 11.90. All that is not part of your grading plan.
And Mr. Suarez, well,
Yeah.
I'm trying to, you said around the addition to.
Yeah, see where it says family room? You have 12 plus 12.56 plus 11.90. That's inside the house. That's not, inside the house is not part of your grading.
Oh.
The new concrete patio, 11.3, 11.8, 11.10.
Yeah, he's got to remove those elevations.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Now push it to a little bit to the left. The plan the other way. There you go. Okay, stop. Now, if you look at this, you do well. Whoever drew this up did well showing the grades around the house, which is very important. But then they didn't show it at the addition. So you always want the water to go. Make sure that your landscape architect or your landscaper, when they grade away so the water moves away from the house. So I would definitely add some grades along. Make sure that your high points are always up against the house. Now, one of the problems you have 10.9, then it goes up to 11.8, then to 10.8, then it back up to 11.4. I think that if you just have a casual grading away from the property line and away from the house, this house works and you don't need to do that, the swale area around the house. The other thing that's going to complicate this significantly is that the amount of existing trees. And you don't want to grade, you want to leave the soil around the roots undisturbed.
But the good thing, Jose, that is they're queen palms. So they can take a little bit more movement and not be too concerned about the roots. But that point of yours is well taken. By the way, so you understand, the finished floor elevation is 12.78. They're dropping down to that concrete patio by 6 inches. That makes it 12.28. That means that patio is higher than the 11.9.
Yes.
But again, your point is well taken. How do you move that water away from that slab, away from the house, which is not defined correctly. Sorry to interrupt.
Right. Now, your septic tank is basically, the top of the tank is just below grade. I don't think, this goes to the pervious and impervious. Your septic field is part of your pervious area, but your septic tank is not. Water is just going to go around it. Now, going to your calculations, I really think that you need to go back to all your calculations. Like, for instance, the driveway is 19 by 20, which shows it's at 373. That's actually 380 square feet. On your addition, like Mariano stated, you have this elevated slab area are you gonna step down to the ground? I mean, it's, to me, it's not clear because you're showing windows that open. So it's hard to tell where you have a door to step out. So make sure that you show all concrete steps down since,
As far as it's very clear to me that Ken Gross made errors here. He's
Yeah.
got existing grades in areas where they shouldn't be within the existing house, and he's just made mistakes that need to be corrected.
right. So just make sure, because there's a couple areas that I noticed, make sure like the equipment pads are shown, all equipment pads are calculated. I did a quick, right now, you're like 1 over the maximum, but the driveway's undershown in the calculations. The exterior slabs that are actually identified add up to more than that, and then the septic tank is not. So make sure that you're within the pervious impervious calculations. Make sure that those are accurate. Because right now, redoing the calculations, just based on these dimensions, puts you over.
Okay,
Mr. Suarez, is that the end of your comment?
The only thing I agree with Mr. Corral, make sure you can get the equipment to get back there. This is going to be a narrow passage through that backyard. So, you may want to talk to the GC and on accessibility and how to build this thing.
okay.
Okay, Mr. Suarez?
That's it for the grading and the landscape.
Thanks, just checking. Mr. Barrera?
Thank you. I'm very familiar with this home. I actually live down the street on 65th Avenue, so I pass by it all the time. Those of you who aren't familiar with this neighborhood, there were a series of homes that were built, I guess at the same point in time, where they all have flat roofs and partially sloped flat roofs. And I've always found this one to be interesting because people take different approaches to articulate them and kind of aesthetically make them more pleasing than the original designs. And this is one of the ones that I've always liked. I wasn't aware that it was that small because you really can't see that from the front. But I think that the job the architect has done in expanding the home, making it more comfortable for the family, adding that suite on the second floor, and staying within the design of the original or the modified home, I think he's done a good job, and I would be in support of this application.
Thank you. Ms. Cruz?
I just wanted to add on to that. I always love to see when they take the existing design and just add on to that. And I think it looks beautiful based off of the renderings, and hopefully they can work out all of the details mentioned earlier. And I like it. Looks good.
Mr. Cabrera, Ms. Cruz, thank you for your comments. Appreciate it.
Ms. Smith?
No, I was just curious if there's the requirement for solar panels or on this project.
If they're not on my submittals, they sure should have been. Solar panels will be required. I know that.
Anything else to add? Ms. Smith?
But wait a minute, hold on. That brings up a very good point. This is an addition to an existing home. Is that requirement still in effect whenever you make any modifications to a house like this? Just for my own.
It's a
Depends on the
percentage.
percentage of the house that's being redone.
Okay.
But I don't know what the percentage is. Jose, you know?
I forget what it is. It's something like 30% or something like that, but I'm just throwing out a number, 25, 30%.
The only reason I don't want to add a burden to someone, if it's just
Right.
a small addition, yeah.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Jessica's going to point out to me right now where it's called out that my client wants solar panels in his home. He is looking at long-term energy efficiency.
Very nice.
Jessica's right now trying to find where in my drawings she knows that there's a comment on sheet A1.
Installing solar, well, battery for solar system.
Okay, the battery source for the solar system is noted on sheet A1. There will be a solar system installed on this home.
Thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Smith?
That's it.
Okay. I agree. I like the design. I love the exterior color, the parish white. And I agree with everything everyone else said. And does anyone move to approve, disapprove? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion for approval with board's comments and staff.
Yep, I'll second that.
Okay, so Mr. Corral moves, Mr. Suarez seconds. I guess it's time to vote. Mr. Corral,
Yes.
Mr. Suarez,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Cruz,
Approve with comments.
Mr. Barrera.
Yes.
I approve with comments as well, so
Just one quick comment. It doesn't affect our reviews or approvals. There's a barbecue being added in the back terrace. Just speaking from experience, you may want to include some type of hood or fan for that. It's not required. It's just something, being it's a large family, it's probably going to be used a lot. Something that you may want to consider, the family may want to consider.
yeah, you don't want everyone smelling like your barbecue.
Yeah, so
You have your food.
so you may want to include some type of fan so that the smoke doesn't
Exhaust.
accumulate in that back terrace and you can fan it outside. Just a suggestion.
Yep.
It's
Thank
not
you.
a comment for approval.
Thank you.
Already voted.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you, everyone. Have a great
Thank
day.
you. Have a good
Bye.
day.
Nice to see many of you that I've known for a long time up there, and you know who you are. Including, I'll just say it, sitting side by side at one point with Mariano at our daughters playing high school volleyball together for Coral Reef High.
All right.
Yeah.
We won't hold that against you.
And one of you, you know who you are, a client from the past.
Okay, so moving on to our next item.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Lourdes, would you like to give us some information on the item?
Yes, thank you. The second item for review this morning is ERPB 2022-003, applicant Alex Garcia, property owner ALS 5770 LLC, location 5770 Southwest 84th Street. The request is for two-story new construction final. This came before the ERPB on its first review back in January 18th. The application, this design, because it has not changed for the most part, the architectural design received preliminary approval of the two-story new construction. Basically, there were a few comments from the ERPB. Most importantly, I like to say that there is no accessory structure. There's no detached structure in the back. There is still a swimming pool, but no detached structure. We have the solar panels. I am assuming it's going to be a payment because they're not illustrated in the plans still today. So the other comments, such as the approaches, there were some comments, obviously those are from Public Works, and those are standards, procedural and part of the permitting application that will take place and will be reviewed from Public Works. We also have the tree removal in process that is under review, ZTR 22-0676. However, we have more than the minimum requirement. I believe there's like 20 some, let me see, 23 trees in total. And of course, we will comply with the mitigation once that is all reviewed and squared away. The application is within an RS3 zoning. It is a lot size of 27,350. It exceeds the two minimum requirements for lot frontage. Being a two-story, as we know, once it gets past the 15,000 square feet, the lot size, and we have a two-story design, the allowables get diminished. So with that said, the building coverage that's allowed is 0.248 on this two-story, which is governed by section 23.5H. The 2.48 is 6,782 and an FAR of 0.372, way less than obviously the 45 that is typically allowed on an RS3. The proposed of both floors is a 6,098. The impervious includes the driveway, of course, the building, the driveway in its entirety, a front walkway, including the gaps in between, the entry, the concrete slabs, swimming pools, and all except for the raised pads for the swimming pool equipment that are on the side of the building. We also have the impervious proposed at 9,431 square feet. That's 34%, which is the allowable is 0.348. 9,517 is the maximum allowable. The design and the architectural as far as the elevations, as I said, they're the same as not any changes, I would say. I'm sure Jennifer would correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it was mainly just the engineering portion, the MEPs that are included with this design. And the Development Review Committee obviously took place on January 11th, 2022. And the landscaping, as I said, there's 23 trees in total. 3 oaks are in the swale, and the remaining 20, of course, are on the site. Staff's recommendations for final approval of both the building and the landscaping with the following conditions: meet set forth section 23.5H dimensional requirements, 2-story. The landscaping, 24.5. Payment in lieu of the installation of the solar panels is also a condition. Complete and comply with the tree removal mitigation and application process, and provide a concrete band, a connection with the edge of the pavement. I believe that was a comment or a condition that was made by the ERPB, which I still do not see on the plans. There is no concrete band at the connection with the edge of pavement. And any comments and suggestions from the board this morning? Welcome, Jennifer Salman, and I believe Gus Gill is also with us this morning. Thank you, welcome.
Just to be sure, Jennifer, were you one of the people who were sworn in today?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Lourdes. You have given a very detailed description of the project. I don't have a whole lot to add other than that, like you said, we haven't changed the design at all. Just been doing the construction drawings. We're ready for permit. So this is our first stop on that path.
Mr. Barrera, I don't believe you were present at the initial meeting where they were granted preliminary approval. Would you like to go first?
Sure. I think the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just 1 second. Public.
Oh, public comment. Sorry.
That's okay.
I don't see anybody in chambers.
And anyone who wants to speak to this item who's on the Zoom call, please raise your virtual hand. And to do that, wave your mouse pointer at the bottom of the screen. You'll see the words reactions to the right. There's a menu bar. Click on the word reaction and you'll see the words raise hand. Click on the words raise hand and your hand will be raised. And I don't see any raised hands, and I'm not certain if I see anybody who's not an applicant, but it doesn't matter. I don't see any raised hands. All right.
Okay, Mr. Barrera.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I had the opportunity of looking through the plans. Very well done. I like the scale of the house, the way the 2-story portion of the house is in the center and then it steps down to the sides. I love the fact that the architect took advantage of the size of the property to have the garage entrances from the side and not from the front. I think that really adds a lot to the front view of the house. I know I don't comment on landscape, but I think if what's in the renderings is what's in the landscape plan. I think they've done a wonderful job of working with the landscape and the design of the home, and the articulation of the facade. And, you know, proportionally, aesthetically, the materials, I like the home and I am in support of the application.
Thank
Can
you.
we see a picture of the rendering?
Can you
please?
share your screen, please? Yes.
Well, they do that. Thank you for increasing the values of our homes in the South area.
Thank you. I believe you see on the screen here the front elevation and what we were just talking about with the garages with windows on the front of the street and side loaded so they're not facing the street directly. Sort of a closer zoom in at the front entry. Traditional style architecture. And here you have two views of the back. Porch, and again, though, one-story elements on the side sort of buffer the two-story area and embrace the wider lot.
Can you stay on this picture for a second?
Sure.
This photo shows a pool that seems to be larger with the slabs around it than what's on.
Yes. The rendering was done before we had to make some corrections to the impervious area.
Okay, so the owner knows that they cannot come back and do
Absolutely.
that and they're gonna have no walkway. So going back and
Absolutely.
forth on the pool, the grass is gonna die on them. And
Hopefully
where they
not.
have, and where they have their lawn furniture.
Hopefully not. But yes, they are very aware of the limitations here for the impervious area.
I have a question, and we're doing a project in Coral Gables where we're using impervious pavers that basically the water just flows right through it like if it was a colander. Are we allowing that type of paver in South Miami for impervious surface?
Well,
I've yet to see a concrete pavers that actually works that way.
yeah, and Augustine, let me
I have a sample in my office and I ran water through it, so.
yeah, but you have to look at the assembly, because it's not just, this is a big mistake because they're doing it with artificial grass and so forth. It's the assembly. So you could put something that's very pervious, but you have to compact the fill so that it doesn't settle on you, so that the assembly now becomes impervious. So it's not just the surface itself. The water's got to get down to the ground table. And that's where you run into the problem. And a lot of people just don't think about that.
And you know what's funny too, Agustin, just for, and I'm glad you brought that up. It's making a comparison. For instance, I remember many years ago when I got contacted, I was doing a golf course, so they wanted me to use this special additive to all the soil that will contain all this water so that you don't have to irrigate and so forth. And I said to myself, why am I going to use a product that has never been tested or has been tested on a limited basis? Why am I going to take a risk like that? The same thing, it applies when all these concrete pavers came out that they said they were the water filtered through. And I went to see some of them. And what I saw was they deteriorated within a short period of lifetime. And that was one of the other biggest issues that we had. So I'm glad that Coral Gables does it. I'm not particularly keen on that kind of a selection of material.
I do wish that was a available option for us. The city of Miami also takes the impervious pavers. You don't get a full credit, but you get a percentage of, calculating for that.
I'm willing to work with you on that, Jennifer, if staff is willing to accept that. That's up to staff now.
Yeah, but Jennifer, keep in mind that, because I've represented owners all my life, and that even these impervious or these pervious pavers or semi-pervious pavers, that the moment you put it on because you don't want it to sink and become uneven. And so you're compacting the fill so that these pavers don't move. And that's where you run into the problem. It's not the paver itself. It's what you're putting it on. And so,
Understood.
And so that's the conflict there. And same thing, we're seeing it with the artificial turf. They're saying, oh, look how pervious this is, but they're putting it on top of concrete because it moves on them.
Jose, question, can you place that? Because every time I do artificial turf, we actually set it on sand, just like a paver, where sand percolates.
Yeah, but it's a very slow movement of water.
I totally understand it's not grass, but I think it's something that, I mean, and we don't have to talk about this today. This can go on and maybe discuss this with staff, but what Jennifer just mentioned is something that might be an alternative for, and again, not 100% that it percolates, but maybe some percentage, because I mean, the restrictions are really, really strict in South Miami compared to any other municipality.
For sure.
Yeah,
For
Gus,
sure.
Gus, what I'd like to share with you is a couple of things. One is the vast majority of the artificial turfs are petroleum based, and they're horrible for the environment. And then when they have to be thrown away, it's even that much worse. I think I'm only aware of one artificial turf that does not get hot. I mean, extremely hot in the summertime. And in fact, a neighbor of ours is thinking of putting it down. And I raised that issue about the heat, just it's a local neighbors chat we have. And I said, hey, you got to worry about the heat. And somebody else said, oh yeah, we put it in and it was super hot. It cannot be used during the daytime unless you water it down. So all these artificial turfs you're seeing out there, soccer fields and so forth, they're great, but they have to be watered down in the heat of the day. And then when it comes to disposal, it's petroleum based and it's going to become a nightmare. So
Jose, I totally agree 100% with you. It's crazy to put artificial turf next to a pool, because when you walk out of that pool, you're going to burn your feet by the time you get to your deck. 100%.
Yeah,
I'm on fair. What I was just mentioning was I'm talking more about the paver that Agustin was mentioning, not so much. But what I'm just trying to say is that we've placed, like even a driveway paver, you don't have to put it on solid rock. You can actually lay it on sand, compacted sand. And again, I understand Mariano's point as well. It's not 100% percolation, but if the staff can look at something where there could be a product that could be placed on sand that percolates and gives some kind of percentage, so not 100%, but some kind of percentage, I think it'll help out a lot of our clients with the restrictions.
Yes, I understand exactly what you're saying, because it also brings up another point, which I've been saying for a long time, that this city should also look at the possibility of increasing the impervious calculation from 40% to 45%. That eliminates a lot of headaches.
Yep.
Because the biggest problem when you increase that, everybody kept saying, oh my God, then they're great. No, we can always contain the water within the property. But my issue with that has always been, my God, I'm buying a home that I'm going to pay $3 million. And I cannot have my backyard the way I want it because I'm limited to certain things. So from that perspective, I get it. But that again, is something that would have to be proposed by the planning director, gone to commission and all. But I agree with you. I'm willing to accept certain percentage so that people can have what they want in their backyard.
Yeah.
To me,
Mariano, not necessarily even what they want, just what they need.
Yeah,
because forget about what we want. When you think about the percentages, if this lot has let's say, call it 30% lot coverage, and the impervious is 40, that leaves me 10% of the lot for driveways, walkways, AC pads, pool decks, and including the pool. So imagine you have a 20 by 40 pool or something, there's nothing left. And one of the things that you admired about this project is that the garages are on the side rather than the front, and that comes at a price for the impervious because it means more driveway.
Well, now I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I don't care. Reduce the size of the house.
No.
Yep.
Well, you just made the point.
I know, but that is exactly what we've been hearing for a long time with a lot of advocates, that the reason is that they want you to make the house smaller. And in my mind, I'm saying, are you crazy? They're paying all this money for this lot.
That's right.
They're gonna max it out. They have to max it out.
Well, we didn't even,
Fine.
Mariano, we didn't max this house and we still can't, had trouble
I
meeting the
agree. Well,
impervious.
you're up to 30% is all you're allowed.
Yeah, Jennifer, people don't realize because of our lot sizes, we're more expensive than Pinecrest and a lot of parts of Coral Gables on a square
Absolutely.
foot price basis, because we're comparing a third of an acre, a quarter to a third of an acre in price to a full acre in Pinecrest. So when you actually do the math, the price per square foot is more expensive here in South Miami. And keep in mind, I agree with what Mariano just said about the 45 versus 40, but the way the code is written right now, and this came up like over 5 years ago, is just by definition, your driveways and your main walkway up to the house are considered impervious. So even if you made it out of sand and put nothing on it, it's still considered an impervious area.
Because of
So,
the subgrade.
yeah, it's just, you have cars parked on driveways and so forth. So I like.
Well, then
Yeah.
you end up with cars parked on the grass. You
Yeah.
drive around and,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
no, it-
know, we're-
and I like the fact that you don't see the entrance, the garage doors from the street. So, kudos to you guys and,
it comes at a
Um,
big price.
yep.
Now,
Hopefully
Jose, there is one fact, and I need clarification from Mr. Pepe. Can we waive those kind of things, Mr. Pepe?
No.
Or we can say, allow the concrete pavers to be a permeable and let it roll?
Nope.
Through the chair.
I was trying, guys.
May I
Go ahead,
respond?
Mr. Pepe.
No, you can't waive it.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
through
I
the
mean-
And
chair.
let's change it.
Well, then you know what? So you guys gonna have to.
Start a movement.
See the mayor.
Excuse
Well,
me,
but-
through the
well,
Start a
chair.
movement. Go ahead, Ms. Lourdes.
Staff does not have that authority either.
right.
We know, Lourdes.
Yeah. By the way, one comment I do have is you have on the house, you have like an outdoor shower area, which I'm assuming that's all, the way the calculation's done, that's all going to be, the water's going to hit the soil. Check your drawings out. The size of that area varies on different drawings. So you may want to clean that up before you go out to contract.
Okay, we'll take a look at that.
Yeah, some of the landscape drawings show it bigger, some show it smaller, but since it's an impervious area, I'm not worried about it.
Great.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Corral, Mr. Suarez, Mr. Vaquera, Ms. Smith. Anything to add, Ms. Smith?
All that roof and no solar panels.
Well, I do need to talk about the landscape still.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Mariana.
Lourdes, I need clarification if you have it in before you. Is Elizabeth a registered landscape architect? Do we
her
know?
Title. I'm sorry, Elizabeth, you said in reference to,
Is she a landscape architect or a landscape designer?
well, what does it say on the title block?
It says landscape designer, but then Diego Vanderbilt is signing and sealing these drawings, which again, the title block is not acceptable because it has to be done by a registered landscape architect.
Are yours, Mariano, are your drawings signed and sealed, the landscape
No.
architect? No, mine aren't either.
And I just want a clarification on that, because I could have sworn,
They
I
are.
would have said
They're
something about
signed.
that the first time they came in January. Okay, so Diego is signing, well, I don't have that. The
Yeah,
one I got-
my drawing is not signed and sealed.
Okay, so it's Diego the one is signing and sealing, but
Yes.
Elizabeth is designing it, so she's doing the work, he's signing and sealing, he's taking the responsibility, but the title block, she have Diego, not Elizabeth, because that's the law. Then I don't care. I don't care if he wants to take responsibility, I don't care if she screws up and it's gonna be his fault, because he's the one signing and sealing the drawings. But I just wanna make sure that that's the case.
The large set is signed also in the PDF that was submitted as a digital signature on it.
And let me go on record on this so that because I get,
Yes, we all see Diego Vanderbilt's
Yep.
square there. That's his seal.
let
So
me
he's the
just go on
registered
record this
one.
because this is something that is, it obviously is true
Copies
to
may
my
not
heart.
be, Mr. Suarez. I'm sorry, Mr. Corral. Just as you can see, the digital are all signed and sealed. Your hard copies may not be, but they're.
Yes, thank you, Louis. We see it.
Thank you.
I don't understand how a landscape architect can lend their license to someone in this form and manner. I've always been very careful about how, unless she works for him, then it's a different ballgame. But to me, I need to protect my profession. We have lost a lot of issues throughout the years because of engineers. But it's also been our fault because we don't know how to do grading. We don't know how to do construction. We don't know how to put things together. And I've seen that throughout the year, how landscape architects have dwindled down from that perspective. And because of money, they have allowed themselves to be prostituted at times because of that. I am very passionate about my profession. I still love my profession. I'm 69 years old, and I still, even though I feel I'm 35, my bone tells differently, but I still love my profession. And I'll continue to fight to do this until the day I die on top of my drafting table. Because that's the way they're going to find me, with one pencil in the hand and all spread out on top of my drafting table. So I just don't understand. And again, I just want to make sure that this is done correctly. Mr. Pepe, I know you called Tallahassee, you spoke to them, okay? And I believe, because I saw how you wrote the letter, I am not sure if they understood it, but I believe that they will come back and said that it has to be signed and sealed by a landscape architect. Am I correct in my assumption or no?
Well, I remember that it has to be signed by an architect. Whether or not the architect can sign off on all the plans, obviously it has to come within their knowledge. Whether or not an architect can practice as a landscape architect as well as an architect, I don't know that answer. I mean, we can.
No, let me, okay, let
Through
me,
the chair,
I'm
if I
gonna,
may.
I am gonna answer that to you.
Let's give Lourdes has something to add. Can we please allow her the opportunity to
Mr.
share?
Pepe, the architecture has to be by a registered architect. And on two-story homes, our land development code, the section escapes me now, but I believe is the section that talks about two-story homes, section 23.5H. The land development code requires the landscaping portion of the design to be by a registered landscape architect. That is
Okay.
a South Miami requirement.
Mm-hmm.
And so, at the end of the day, this is gonna go through people's one left ear, out the other ear, so I'm gonna stop. But I said my piece. And I'm gonna continue fighting for my profession as hard as I can. But I will tell you, I am very disappointed in my colleagues that are coming up that have absolutely no clue how to put things together when it comes to construction. I think Gus can actually tell you those things, okay? Like I asked one guy one time, says, let me ask you, what's a grade beam? Couldn't answer me what a grade beam was. And if for those of you that you're thinking about it, it's a beam on grade. So, I mean, it's as simple as that. And when I'm talking to landscape architects, or some of them, the younger ones, and they cannot even answer that to me, I really have problems. But again, that's my passion. That's my issue with this profession. So we'll move on.
No. So no comment on this actual landscape plan. You're good with it?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay,
I'm good.
I do have one
Thank you,
comment.
Mr. Suarez.
Yeah, and again, it's pushing this envelope of the impervious. You have this beautiful home. There's going to be a lot of get-togethers here. It's obvious from the parking areas and that they have in the front. for additional vehicles to park there. There's no way to get to the front door without walking on the grass. And I think that is just not realistic. They're going to have gas. You cannot get from the street to the front door. You cannot get from the side parking to the front door. And I think that is just not realistic for a house that's this beautiful and this big, that there's not a way to get to the front door without walking on grass.
Okay, thank you. Believe you heard from Ms. Smith, Ms. Cruz.
So I do remember the project. I did comment previously that I really loved all the green space. I believe that the end product of the actual home itself is very soft to the eye. I think it's a beautiful addition to the neighborhood. It is, I would say, over $5 million or more for this property value. So if they could figure out, the kinks with the pool deck and accessing the front door, I think it would be ideal. But I guess at the end of the day, if they don't have anything to work with, then this is what they'll have to,
Yeah, look at the rendering. The very first photo, the cover photo, has what they need. That's realistic. And unfortunately, they've had to take that out because you cannot get to 45%.
Yeah, and that's the thing, we have these owners coming in and really having these beautiful homes designed. But if we can just look into that or see how it can get started with the impervious pavers, it would really help everyone. They have to make it to their liking and meet their needs and figure it out. But I mean, I think
Paulina, the best way to do this is us as a board, submit some sort of a proposal to Shari Kamali and the planning director to be proposed to the commissioners to take into consideration our suggestion and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, well, we'll have a little bit of time after this to do this, hopefully with the assistance of Mr. Pepe to get everything going the right way. But I think I'm last. Everyone else has spoken. It's a beautiful home. I think it's going to be a beautiful addition to our community.
I agree.
I love the trees. I love the design. I wish, impervious pavers were in because they could use those. But if anyone has anything else to say or no one has anything else to say, is there a motion?
Just one quick suggestion maybe is to take out the driveway that's on the west side, since, it's got 3 parking spaces, take out some slivers between where the cars go in. And that might be able to create at least a walkway, to the front walkway. That'd be a suggestion. Trying to, create, 3 separate entrances on the west side. And maybe they can pick up enough square footage to do a path from the front to the front door. Just a suggestion for them to look at.
Okay, and then I also want to jump in and say thank you, Jennifer, because every time we speak about something, you pop it up on the screen and you enlarge it, and it's been great.
Perfect.
Yep.
So is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve with staff and with board comments, and for them to really look at the driveway configuration. Maybe they can take out and create some pervious areas there to be able to do a walkway in the front.
As a suggestion?
Yes, a suggestion.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Okay, Mr. Barrera, second.
Make
Okay.
sure it's final, please. The word final.
Yeah, for final.
Final.
For final.
Okay, let's go ahead and vote. Mr. Corral,
Yes.
Mr. Suarez,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Cruz,
Approve.
Mr. Barrera.
Yes.
I vote yes as well, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Through
Thank you
through
all
the
for
chair, Lina, you may give me a second. Jose, I will definitely look at those suggestions, and I think that's a great idea, and we'll definitely look into that. But Mariano and the rest of the team, you guys can spearhead something regarding this, as you know how difficult it's become, you know, to build in South Miami with this imperious issue. That would be really, really appreciated by homeowners, by the industry. If you need any backing or any suggestions or something that the industry can bring to you and help you, we're more than happy to be involved in the process. But it would be great if this board can spearhead this and start, you know, getting maybe some traction with the commission and the mayor's office and so on. So thank you for your approval today, and we look forward to working together with you on trying to get, you know, something better for all the homeowners in South Miami.
Gus, I agree with you totally. You know, I was just thinking it may be easier to get one walkway to the street versus going in both directions. Might be more efficient.
Yeah, for
in
sure.
creating that. So, but I think you're going to be very close, and you might be able to pull it off. And maybe in this case, you know, maybe we can be a little bit more flexible and allowing the space between the pavers, you know, do something to get you there.
And by the way, one of the issues why this is important is they'll come back and build whatever they want after they got an approval from the city and hide it from the city. And they'll do certain things without us even knowing about it. I'd rather see it up front, give them the approval for any type of design, anything they want to do, than having later on come back and say, okay, now that we got approval, hey, take out the grass, let's put the pool deck, let's do it. And nobody will know. So at least I really like for us to be fair and be able to see something that is going to be true and not something that later on they're going to do hidden from us.
That's correct.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Good job, Gus.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Jennifer. Good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Great job, Jennifer.
Good job,
Thank you.
Jennifer.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all your time and very good
Excellent.
discussion.
Excellent, Jennifer.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so moving right along to the third item. I see that there's two new Zoom participants, Camilo O and Andrew Rank, who I believe is the applicant. And Andrew Rank is the property owner, I believe, have not been sworn in. Oh, Andrew's gone.
Andrew Reck from the previous application.
Oh, was it previous one? I'm sorry.
He was the first, so.
I have like eight papers on top of my desk. I
We
apologize.
have Emilio for this third item, and I'm guessing Camilo, perhaps?
Yes, Camilo is my son. He working in my office.
Ah,
All right, will he be testifying?
Let me introduce to him.
Yeah,
Camilo?
yeah. He asked me to join something.
were
All
you
right,
sworn in?
you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Swear.
Okay.
Thank you. Lourdes, would you like to give us
Thank
some
you, Ms.
information on
Sierra.
this item?
The third item for review this morning is ERPB 2022-021. Applicant Aris Uzerman, property owner J&K American Inc., location 5940 Southwest 68th Street. The request is for service equipment screening and also exterior painting. As we know, the Land Development Code requires screening for any new mechanical equipment up on the rooftop of any building. This would be the screening for a new kitchen hood at the existing building's rooftop of the South Miami Market. Again, located at 5940 Southwest 68th Street. We have the applicant's intent in the package. It was prepared by Emilio Alberto Orozco, the professional engineer. There's also a letter dated May 22nd that authorizes South Miami's representative to screen from view the new kitchen hood on the rooftop. We have aluminum picket railings in white. They would match they would be on all three sides of the building. And then it's at 3 feet 6 inches. again, to screen from view as required by the Land Development Code. The white paint color of these railings would also match the door frames. The intent is to maintain the same color scheme for the repainting of the exterior. It's Yellow Sunny Verdana number 9017 by Sharon Williams. And the sign is also their traditional yellow and red, and will continue to read South Miami Market as illustrated in some of the photos. We have, of course, compliance with the building code as far as those shop drawings for those railings. And at this time, the applicant is requesting approval, again, for both, for the screening on the rooftop and the exterior paint. Staff's recommendations also for approval, as long as it meets set forth the requirement 23.6H for screening. And any comments from the board. Welcome, Mr. Orozco, and your son Camilo. You want to add any information? The plans are signed by the engineer.
Yeah. The work is the one kitchen conditioning for a supermarket. So the finished exterior is a proposal of this meeting. We are proposing aluminum railing on top of the roof to protect equipment. Also, the all buildings to paint by color white as a specification in the plan for Shelby Williams. Ese es the scope of work.
Can we see a rendering, please?
Sorry?
There's no rendering.
It's no renderings. It's just the photographs.
Okay.
Their plans.
Emiliano, let me ask you a question real quick. I'm assuming you took a look at the roof structure to be able to withstand this weight, correct?
I don't listen very well, sorry?
I'm assuming that before putting, that you took a look at the roof structure to be able to support the weight of this equipment.
Yes, that's right. I verify.
Okay, good. All right.
Emiliano, a question for you is, this works. Is there a reason why you decided to put the screening at the facade, which is a totally different material that's really going to stick out tremendously, versus offsetting it, bringing it in and significantly reducing it, and just put it around the exhaust fan and the makeup air fan, and significantly reducing and offsetting the screening to just those devices, and that way it'll be less noticeable and a lot less expensive, and and less noticeable.
Yeah. The equipment in the top of the roof is for the kitchen, let's say. The salt fan, supply fan. But the railing is only for protect the equipment around the building, maybe around 160 feet.
So there's other equipment, not just those two fans?
No, only equipment is two fans on the roof.
Excuse me, I'm going to just ask in Spanish, might be easier. ¿En el techo solamente hay los dos fans o hay otros equipos ahí arriba?
No, solamente esos dos fans.
Entonces lo que estoy diciendo es, en vez de tapar todo el techo como lo estás haciendo, es solamente tapar los dos fans y usar muchísimo menos cerca.
Lo que estamos pensando es tapar todo el techo alrededor para que sea algo que no impacte con la arquitectura del área, de la zona.
Okay.
Queremos algo como más ornamental.
Jose, you better translate that.
I was about to translate.
Yeah.
Jumping in
Yeah.
there and translate. Jose,
Go ahead.
Okay, basically, Jose asked if why not cover just the fans, but he said that the purpose was to go with the architecture of the area and provide that railing all the way around. Which, I mean, in my opinion, since the doors have the white trim, I really don't mind that railing all the way around. It gives it a more uniform look. And I have been in there to the South Miami Market and I have had breakfast, so I'm happy they're getting an exhaust fan.
Yep.
Just saying.
I agree with you, Lena.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering. I'm fine with either solution. It was just, if it was considered.
But they are painting the exterior as well, brand new paint, right?
Yeah, fresh new, so it's gonna look nice, with the railing and the fresh new coat of paint. I'm excited to see that next time I
Nice.
go when it's done.
Sí, por eso es que también estamos proponiendo agregar, pintar todo el edificio con una pintura blanca, como la especificada por la ciudad de South Miami, para efectos de también crear como un ambiente, un área del edificio que sea que marche con la arquitectura de todos los edificios que están al lado. O sea, con el cine, algo así, que no sea algo extravagante. Y también...
Emiliano, espera un momentico, so Delina can translate that so that...
Sí, va muy rápido, Emiliano. One moment, please. I'm going to translate again. He says that they're going to paint everything and they want everything to go with the architecture and look of the surrounding buildings. That's why they chose the paint and the railings and all that, the aluminum railings. I mean, I know that there is another building by there, it's not Venetian Tower, whatever it's called. I mean, and it has aluminum and everything. So I get that part.
Ms. Sierra?
Yes, ma'am.
The plans do say that the color would be yellow on the walls. So if the building's going to be painted white, please make sure.
Yeah, let me clarify.
Make sure that that's the case.
Yeah. Emiliano, los planes dicen que el color de las paredes va a ser amarillo, no blanco. Si eso cambia, tiene que cambiar los planes, pero amarillo algo sí mucho mejor que blanco.
Las paredes van a ser
blancas.
Sí, tiene razón. Sorry, tiene razón.
Pero
Okay,
¿de qué color quieren ustedes pintarlo? ¿Amarillo o blanco las paredes? ¿De qué color quieren las paredes?
Bueno, estamos proponiendo el amarillo que aparece ahí en el plano, una pintura de Sherwin-Williams, que está dentro de la lista de los fines de la ciudad. O nosotros aceptaríamos lo que el BOAR nos pida, o sea, si nos piden amarillo, blanco, algo que va en concordancia con el resto de los edificios.
Okay, so we just clarified that the proposed color is the yellow, not the white, but Emiliano has stated that if we propose a different color, he's willing to accept, whatever we propose. I'm good with the yellow and the white railing on top that matches the frame of the doors. That's my comment. If anyone else has a comment, I think a lot of us have commented already.
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest maybe having a trim, maybe the roof trim to be the white. I mean, it's something for the architect to consider, since they're going to be putting up this new railing, it's a good opportunity to further dress up the building. But overall, I'm fine with yellow or white.
Yeah, I like the yellow better, but I'm fine with that.
The yellow on the facade, but I'm talking about the roof trim.
Yeah, because
you're going to have the white railing, and so it's going to offset against that yellow, so maybe have a transition, but that's up to the architect. I could go either way. I'm fine.
El señor Suárez dice que si les gustaría, podían poner el trim del borde encima del techo en blanco si quiere, pero está bien como está ahora.
Thank God you're translating that, because when Jose speaks, wow.
I used to be on Spanish national TV.
There you go.
Okay. Anyone else have a comment?
I recommend that they leave the yellow trim around the roof, because with water runoff, it is gonna get dirty a little bit, and on the white, it will just jump right out. So I would recommend to leave it yellow.
Good point.
Great point. Sí, está recomendando el señor Barrera que lo deje amarillo alrededor del techo, porque con el agua, cuando cae el agua, se mancha y se puede ensuciar el color blanco, así que el amarillo estaría bien.
Okay, gracias. Thank you.
De nada.
I'll make a motion for approval.
I second that.
Based on staff comments and our board meeting and board.
I second that.
We have a motion for approval. Let's go ahead and vote in a second. Mariano,
Yes.
Mr. Suarez,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yep.
Ms. Cruz,
Approved.
Mr. Barrera,
Yes.
and I approve as well, so.
Gracias.
Approved. Muchas gracias, está
Approved as
aprobado.
presented.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Emilio. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you, Brett.
Okay.
Okay, so our last item is approval of the minutes from our last meeting. Everyone was present that's on here except,
Me.
No, you do.
no, Ms. Smith was not there.
Yeah, I was at
Okay, so,
graduation.
so congratulations. Everyone, did everyone look at the minutes? Does anyone have any comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye. Any opposition? Okay, meetings are approved, meeting minutes are approved. Our next meeting is in 2 weeks. Anything
right,
else?
through the
July
chair.
5th,
I'm sorry?
July
July
5th.
5th.
July 5th.
I will not be here. I'll be in Georgia, celebrating my daughter's wedding.
Oh, congrats.
Yes.
Very nice.
So, I will miss that day. And I keep saying to her, couldn't you make it closer to home? I gotta drive a long ways. But it's a
But you
beautiful
love
area.
it.
It's called Dahlonega, Georgia. Take
You
a look
love
at-
it.
Dude,
You
take a
love
look.
it.
Yeah, take a look at the area. It's beautiful. Vineyards, well, beautiful.
What's the name? What's the town?
Dahlonega, Georgia. In
Dahlonega.
fact, Hallmark uses that as one of their filming towns,
Dahlonega.
Through the chair,
100 miles north of Atlanta.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I have gotten the staff comments on the pervious impervious proposed amendments to the code. But I was going to suggest that I should be able to have it by the next meeting, but if Mr. Corral's not going to be here, that might not be a good idea. So I'll suggest trying to get it on the agenda for the following meeting so that everyone can be here.
Is that the one that we all responded to your comments, sir?
Yes, yes, it is. And I've gotten comments from Jane Tompkins, from Marcus and Lourdes. So I just need to put all that together.
It's being that's as complex as it is and as long as it is, it might be worthwhile just getting that out earlier.
I will share it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share it earlier and then we'll schedule a meeting.
By the way, now that we lost Jane I'm sorry to see her go. Do we know who the new planning director is going to be? Have that come up yet?
Well, there's a resolution to approve the appointment of an acting an acting planning director, which would be someone from the Cordino, I think it's the Cordino group.
Mhm.
So
It's
I
on
think
tonight's,
that's-
yeah.
I think that's on the agenda for tonight.
Yeah, it's on tonight's agenda. I saw it.
Is now a good time to even touch base on what we talked during this meeting today, increasing impervious to 45%?
Yes, I can include that in, made some notes. And I was just curious, I might as well ask it now. If increasing to 45%, won't the applicant just build out to the max and later on add walkways and add decks?
Oh, that
That's the whole
people will
purpose.
still do that.
That's the whole purpose.
So
No,
what-
people will still do that.
So
Yeah.
what's the purpose of increasing it by 5%? I thought that the reason to increase it by 5% so they could have the deck around the pool and to have the sidewalk. But you're gonna increase it to 45%, they'll just build out the structure.
No,
Bless you.
no, sir, no, sir. The 30% remains intact as far as the buildable of the home. The 45% is for adding that additional 5% for the overall, so that they can have the driveways and the walkways and the pool deck.
So the 5% would not be for the main
house.
structure.
No,
Right.
no, sir, no, sir.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
I would run that by staff before you put it in, before you distribute it to everybody to get their feelings on that. But yeah, I agree with Mr. Corral.
The other area we started discussing was the issue of the pervious pavers. There's actually two types, the ones that the water goes through, and then the standard paver that then has stems on the side to create drainage between pavers. And these are all set on different, there's details for how these drain. It's not just on compacted fill. So there's multiple details that you can see online that can be used for this. Again, it wouldn't be 100% the way sod is, but I think it's worth exploring that to provide options to the homeowners where they can provide either type of impervious paver or pervious paver with the right details and the right installation method. So what would be the process for that?
Yeah, well, as long as it's not just the paper, they have to look at the assembly.
No, it's the assembly, correct,
Right.
yeah. And if you go online and you Google it, you'll see that there's many different details, but they always have different layers of rock at different sizes to make sure that there's drainage underneath the pavers.
We need solutions because right now people are building houses
Yeah.
without walkways to their front door. They're building houses without decks around to the pool or
Yeah.
walkway to the pool. And it's crazy because we know it's happening after the fact, at least to the pool.
Because one way that people could address it was they can build a 2-story box to get to the square footage they need. They use less land area for the building, but now we're driving people to build more vertical versus the house that we saw earlier that was proportionally was very well designed. They didn't just do a 2-story box, but they were penalized because then they didn't have enough area for the pool deck and other areas. So I think
I would say that's exactly correct. And here's the other issue too. Wouldn't you rather see the entire thing really designed properly? The walkways leading to from the driveway to the front of the house, the backyard where there are gazebos and the barbecue. Why can we see great design of the outdoor spaces marrying the main of the house? And because of code, we're limited. And man, that hurts me a lot because I know creativity can come along in there.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So what's the next step, Mr. Pepe? How does staff look at the issue of the pavers?
Well, we'll put that out there. We'll add that to the proposed amendment and I'll have staff take a look at it and we'll get their feedback. If you could supply everyone, not for comments by anyone, but just supply the information with regard to designing walkways with pavers that will provide for drainage, and that may be suggestions as to a percentage that should be allowed based on those designs. That would be helpful.
Okay, I'll talk to our landscape architect in-house and get some different manufacturers and systems, because they're like Mr. Suarez says, it is a system. It's not just a paver.
That is
It has
correct.
to be a whole system. With regards to percentage that we would allow, that's probably more up to interpretation because it's not going to be the same as sod. So that's something that I guess we could have a discussion on, or I can also talk to one of our in-house civil engineers and see what they would recommend, or see if the specs with regards to the ones that we would be looking at, if they have some percolation numbers in it, so then we can compare that to the percolation for sod per se. You know,
What about looking at what other cities allow for the percentages?
Pinehurst allows 45% and also allows for impermeable pavers.
Okay. Was taking a
Oh,
sampling.
by the way, with this increase, I recommend that we also increase the number of shrubs and perhaps trees to be placed on the lot. Mainly the shrubs, because that was began to help out balance the rest of the lot. So that's another consideration that we should take into from that perspective. So if we increase 45%, let's increase also the requirement for the landscape, especially the shrub areas.
Well, Mr. Corral, if you could supply me with some of your thoughts in writing,
Be more than glad to.
I could throw that in there for discussion.
Be more than glad to.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, you did get you did get my questionnaire, right, sir?
I did. I have your
Okay.
comments. They've been included in
Okay.
the draft.
okay.
This year, nice job today.
Thank you.
Yeah, good
Great
job.
job,
Lina.
Lina.
Thank you.
Okay.
We adjourn?
Yeah, nice job, Lena.
All right. I have to get to my day job, guys.
Okay, we all gotta get to our real
Oh,
jobs.
you really have one.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, take care.
Hi, Mrs. Kamali, good to see you. All right, guys, I gotta go to my next meeting too. Have a
Great
good one.
seeing you.